Inside SharePoint, we have a list called Task Tracker. It has title, assigned to, and due date. As you can see, assigned to is assigned to a person, so we can literally assign the task to any user in our Active Directory. I created an app inside PowerApps, which is connected to exactly the same list inside SharePoint. It has task 1, task 2, and I also added a form, just an edit form, that is connected to the very same list. So if I just run it, if I say title, for example, task 3, I can assign it to anyone, James, for example, and due date is going to be the date that I pick. It doesn't matter what date. I click OK, and if I click on add, this is going to add this guy here. Perfect. Now in this video, instead of letting the user pick any user in our Active Directory, if you want to give the user one single group, I called it taskers. It has 3 members, Aliraza, James, and Jason. No other user can be added to this list unless it is already added to this group. If this is something that you are interested, let's get into it. Hello. That short introduction should tell you what we are going to do in this video, but I just want to remind you of one thing. We all know that SharePoint forms are actually PowerApps forms, so we can open and customize those forms inside SharePoint. If that's your scenario, please don't take this approach. There is a much better way to do that. Apparently, this approach works inside SharePoint, but in reality, it doesn't. If you want to know about it, put it in the comments section, and I will discuss it in a different video. At the moment, the approach that I'm presenting in this video is going to cover you only if you have an app that is connected to SharePoint and you want to bring in the person field from Active Directory. Let's start without wasting time. First, let me show you how I set up the app. The app that we have has a connection to SharePoint. I have connected this app to Task Tracker. So as a result, I have a gallery that is connected to this data source, and I've added 3 fields here: the title, the assigned to, and the due date. On the other side, there's an edit form that has nothing special. This edit form exactly is connected to the same data source. The only thing is that I haven't set anything for the item because it was not necessary, considering that I set a default mode to new. So when I submit this form, every time it creates a new record. And add doesn't do much. This button has one line which says submit form, and that's it. And when the form is successfully completed the job, on success, I just reset the form. So I will have a fresh form for the next submission or the next task to be added. So it is not much. The only thing is that the field assigned to, if I click on this one, you will see that this field, the items are coming from choices. I haven't done anything. I just added the field here. But considering that field is a person field, it automatically gets the choices from the assigned to field, which refers to all the users inside my Active Directory. Now let's start by bringing all the members of that specific taskers AD group here. If I go inside Azure portal, I can find the group, and the very first thing that we need from there is the object ID of this group. If you created this task, just go to Azure portal, look up the groups, and under groups, find your group that you want to bring the users or the members to your app, and pick up the object ID. It's right on the overview, or you can also find it under properties. Same thing, take a copy of it and bring it to your app. In case you don't do these things yourself in the company, just contact your cloud or network administrator and they will provide you with the object ID. Now, let's go inside PowerApps and bring those users here. I click on this data icon and I add data, and I want to look for AzureAD. Right? And I pick the AzureAD. So now I have a connection that can connect to my Azure Active Directory and bring in the things that I want. Now to make the things a little bit cleaner, I want to go here and I want to add a new screen to do all my research and talk show there, and then we come back to the app and update it. So let me just add a new screen here. There we go. I have another screen, and inside this screen, I just want to insert a button. And when the user pushes this button should say get AD group members. There we go. Oh gosh, it's a little bit tiny. So let me increase the size a little bit. Font size, make it 20. Okay, that's better. All right. Now, when the users click on this, I want to go to onSelect, set function to create a variable. And this variable is going to be var, for example, temp. And I want to use my AzureAD that I just added the reference, and I want to use one function out of this AzureAD connection, and that function is called GetGroupMembers. The GetGroupMembers accepts the ID that I just stole it from Azure Portal and will return all the members inside that group in a certain format. And in a minute, you will see why I'm using this page to avoid the mess on the other screen. So let me just close this guy, and now it should work fine. Let me just save it and run it. And if I click on this one, nothing happens. Apparently it was doing something in the background. To see the result, I can click on this guy, just double click on the variable, and you will see some weird result here. It just has two columns and one row, one of them says name, the other one says value. So I have a value that has a table inside it. And what I'm looking for is the content of this table, because most probably that will contain the members of that AD group. So let me modify my code a little bit, and I say I want the value of whatever that it returns. Let's save it again and run it. And all right, you think it did anything? All right, great. So I have the members of that group, the three members that I had there. So if I come back here and you see the members here, you will see all these three members, Alireza, James, Jason. I can come back here and I see I have everything here. Fantastic. We are done with the first step. So I have a table that contains those people. And just like that, when I have a table, I can easily come here and insert, for example, a combo box. And when I have this combo box, I can go to the items that it should display, and I can say use my var_temp. Done. And now if I bring this guy here, oh gosh, why the size is so small? Font size, make it 20 again, and maybe make it a little bit larger. And you will see now if I click on this guy, it will show the users. Of course, there are many other fields that I can use them. Even if I want, I can pick this combo box and I say, for the fields, I can say use double layout, and for the primary text, show me the display name. For the secondary text, show me the mail, and that's it. So if I run this now, it will show me the name, email, name, email, name, email, and I can pick whatever you want. Even multi-select is not disabled for this guy, so everything works beautifully. But can I use this variable inside SharePoint? Now let's go back to my SharePoint because I want to show you something a little bit more than this. Let's say whatever that is selected here, let's put it in a variable and see what we get out of it. I click on Insert and I click on a button. So when the button is pressed, I want to get the selected item and put it in a variable. Then I want to compare the format of the users in this dropdown or in this combo box with the ones that we get from Active Directory and see if they match. And if they don't, let's see how we can make them match. When someone pushes this button, I want to say set var_selected assignee, and I want to get the selected items from this combo box. So I click on this guy, I see what the name is. Name is data card value 5. I copy this, I come back to my button, and I say, give me this data card value, whatever that is, dot selected items, and put them in this variable. Now the results are getting a little bit better. So for the assign to, I can pick whatever I want. For example, I pick James Smith, and I click on the button, and just like before, I click on the button, and this time I double click on this variable, and you see, it has claims, department, display name. Hey, we have the display name, good. Email, yes, we had the email there, but it was called mail instead of email. We had the department. Yes, here we also have department, job title, picture. Oh, we didn't have picture there. You know what? Let's put them side by side and compare them so that we can understand the difference between the two formats. Here we go. This is the content that is coming from AD. This is what we need to feed it to SharePoint so it can be added to a person field. Do you see the similarities? Well, they are way off. But really, if we have mail, we can somehow construct the claims because claims has a fixed part in the beginning. So it is I column 0 number sign dot F pipe membership pipe, and right after that there is the email. Display name is coming directly from there because we have it there. Mail represents email for us. We have the job title, which is here, although this one is not capitalized, but that's okay, we can handle that. And picture, we don't have it, and we already know that even if we don't have the picture or picture is blank, and SharePoint is very forgiving when it comes to users that we want to add. So the challenge is that how we can convert something like this that is coming from AD to something like this that SharePoint likes. The answer is simple. Inside PowerApps, we have a function called show columns. Show columns gets a table and only returns the columns that we need. We really don't need all these things if we just have mail, display name, and job title. Technically, we have everything to construct this guy. When we get these three fields, we can use add columns to construct claims out of mail, department, which is going to be blank. Sorry, we don't have it, but we just put it there as a blank field just to keep SharePoint happy. And also picture, we also keep it blank because we have to have this field, although there is no data, but when we assign it, SharePoint knows, you know what, the claim matches, so we're good. And after that, we just need to rename a few columns. So display name from here needs to be capitalized. We have mail, which needs to become email. This is misspelling on my side, sorry. We also need to change job title to job title, capital letter in the beginning. And all these functions, I have covered them in my latest course, Master Microsoft Power Apps Table Functions on Udemy. It's not even a month released, so it is oven hot, and it is already highest rated. If you still don't know what to do, I'm telling you what. Just scan this QR code, and you will get this course for free. The only thing is that this offer is valid till December 17, 2022. If you see this too late, still there are discount coupons in the video description that you can get a hefty discount on it, but you may consider subscribing so you don't miss offers like this on my courses. Regardless, let's get back to our topic. If I use show columns to get mail, display name, and job title, you will get something like this. So instead of this huge table, you will get a simple table that has only 3 columns: mail, display name, and job title. If I use add columns, all of a sudden, we will add 3 more columns called claims, department, and picture. And finally, if I rename the unwanted columns, the display name becomes display name, the mail becomes email, and the job title becomes job title with capital letter. Did we get the exact match? Let's see. For claims, we have claims. For department, we have department. For display name, we have display name. For email, we have email. For job title, we have job title. And same way with picture. We are good. Now let's get to work and see how we can actually implement it. By the way, if you have already taken this course, probably you don't need to watch the rest of the video. Let's go back to the other screen and see if we can get whatever we want in the format that we want in our button push and put it in a variable. Now, whatever that comes out of AzureAD is a table with this format. So the first step is using show columns: mail, display name, and job title. Let me click on format text. It's always good to do. So whatever that comes as a result of our get group members, I can say show columns, and the columns that I want to get from this guy are mail, display name, and job title. I can close this guy, save it, format text, just make sure you always push format text to avoid any mistakes. I can save, and let's run it. If I click on Get Azure Group Members, now my var temp has display name, job title, and mail. Display name, job title, and mail. Great. Next step, add columns, claims, department, and picture. To do that, I again go right before show columns, and I say add columns. And the second parameter for this add column is going to be the column name that we want to add. The first one is going to be claims, and the value that it's going to have is going to be this record, which comes from show columns. I would say dot mail. But before this mail, I need to add a prefix that I just added here. It's going to be I column 0 $f pipe membership pipe, and finally the email address. That's a format that it has. You can just copy it from here, or you can use a JSON function and figure it out yourself based on the values that you get from SharePoint. Not a big deal. The second field that we want to add is going to be department, which is going to be blank. And the third field that we want to add is going to be picture, which again, we want to keep it blank. I just close this, again, click on format text, and I save it. Great. Now let's run it and see what comes out of it. Let me click on this guy. Let's go out. Now let's see what we have here in temp var. I have claims, I have department, picture, display name, job title, and mail. And now we are into the last part, which is renaming the columns. Display name, mail, and job title. To do that, we use rename columns. So again, we go right before add columns, and I say rename columns. And I go to the end of it. As a second parameter, I need to provide the old names. The first old name that we want to deal with is going to be mail. I want to convert it to email. I'm cheating from here. The second column name is going to be display name, which I want to convert it to display name. And the third column that I want to change is going to be job title. And I want to convert it to job title, just to have a capital letter in the beginning so it will match what SharePoint likes to see. And I close the bracket. Again, I click on format text. Everything looks good. I converted mail to email, display name to display name with capital, job title to job title. Great. Save. And I think we are good to go. Let's run it. I click on Get AD Group Members, and I click on this button again to verify and see if I got everything right. So I have claims, department, display name. Only thing I want to double check is I column 0 perfect f.membership and the email. Great. We have the display name, we have the email, we have the job title, and finally we have a blank picture. Great. Now let's see if I provide a variable like this to that combo box that is inside the form. It can be added to SharePoint. But I don't want to bring it from a button. Let me just copy everything that I have here. I want to populate this variable when the app starts. So one time it goes to that server, gets all that information, brings it here inside the app, and it doesn't go there back again. So I just paste this guy here. Instead of this stupid variable name that I put there as var temp, I would say var taskers group members. And all I just need to get a copy of this, bring it back here. I go to screen 1, and inside the screen 1, I need to select this card. Just make sure you unlock it so that you can work with every element inside it individually. I click on this guy, and I go to the items. Instead of having this simple choices that gets everything from AD, I highlight this guy, and I put my variable name there called var taskers group members. Let me just save it and see if it really works. Assign to, it doesn't show me anything. Why is that? Because we never ran this app. At the moment, this variable is blank. It doesn't have anything inside it. When the user opens the app from the beginning, it runs this code right in the beginning. If you're inside the app, we need to run on a start for the app. And then if I just double click on this guy, you will see it has everything that I need inside it. Now I click back here, run. And now if I click on this assign to, I will see the members. Now the $1 million question, if I pick one item and I put, for example, task 3, and I put a due date here, whatever that is, and I click on add, will it add it here? Let's give it a shot. Bingo. It worked like a charm. By the way, the same thing works perfectly for the edit form. At the moment, I just use new for the simplicity, but as long as those formats match, everything is good. And I just remembered that I forgot to cover something in this video. Yes, GetGroupMembers function in Azure AD connection has some limitations. If you have large number of users in that Active Directory group, it doesn't bring all of them. How to go around it and what those limitations are, I will discuss it in the next week video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.